You made the decision to pull back. You'd heard the advice 1,000 times. Give her space, and she'll come running. You thought you were executing a masterstroke of emotional strategy. You stepped into the silence, convinced that your absence would be allowed. Echoing void in her life, a vacuum that would inevitably suck her back towards you. You pictured her alone with her thoughts, each passing hour without your text, magnifying your importance. Until finally she'd break and reach out. Her message bubbling over with a mixture of apology and longing. But reality has a way of humbling even the best laid plans. Instead of that anticipated notification, there's just nothing. The silence on your end has been met with an even more profound silence on hers. And now, you're just sitting there, the glow of your phone screen illuminating the frustration on your face. You're checking, rechecking, wondering if you missed a vibration. You scroll through old conversations, analyzing her last few messages for hidden clues that were never there. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. The frustration is a physical thing-a-tightness in your chest. You followed the rules, so why is she the one who seems completely unfazed, while you're the one feeling the sting of rejection all over again? The core of the problem lies in a fundamental misunderstanding of what silence actually is. Most men see it as a passive state, a simple cessation of contact. They go quiet, but their entire energy remains focused on the person they're not talking to. They are waiting, hoping, and obsessing. And here's the crucial part. People are incredibly perceptive to energy, even from a distance. She doesn't need to see you to sense that your silence isn't a confident, purposeful move forward. It's a desperate, stationary tactic. She can feel that you're just sitting in the same emotional place, hoping your absence will do the work for you. This doesn't make you mysterious. It makes you predictable. It confirms her subconscious belief that she holds the power in the dynamic. Because your actions are still entirely reactive to her. You are silent, but you are waiting for her to make the next move. That isn't power. It's patience rooted in neediness. This is why the conventional advice backfires. You thought silence was a tool to make her miss you, but if the silence is just the quiet of a man waiting by the phone, it doesn't create a void, it creates relief. Relief that the pressure is off. Relief that she doesn't have to deal with the dynamic that led to the pullback in the first place. Your absence only highlights your value if you were actually providing value that is now missed. If the connection had become draining, predictable, or centered on your need for validation, then your silence isn't a loss. It's a welcome break. So, before you can even think about making her feel your absence, you have to ask the hard question. What energy were you bringing to her life before? Was it excitement, challenge, and confidence? Or was it neediness, expectation, and predictability? The answer to that question determines everything. This chapter isn't about blaming you. It's about a brutal, necessary reframe. The failure isn't in the idea of creating space. It's in the execution. It's in the energy you leaked even while saying nothing at all. The initial frustration of a plan gone wrong is a bitter pill to swallow. But it's also the necessary fuel for a proper course correction. If simply going quiet has failed to produce the desired effect, the solution isn't to retreat further into silence or to break it with a desperate message. The solution is to understand that your absence must be an active, not a passive state. It's not about hiding. It's about rebuilding with such visible purpose that your transformation becomes impossible to ignore. This hinges on mastering two interconnected pillars: the strategic use of unpredictability and a genuine, relentless commitment to leveling up. Unpredictability is the antidote to being taken for granted. Human beings are hardwired to notice patterns, and when a pattern breaks, our attention is instantly captured. If your behavior has been consistent, always available, always responsive, always orbiting her world, then your silence is just another predictable data point in that pattern. She can accurately guess that you're pulling back as a tactic, and that very predictability robs the action of all its power. The goal, therefore, is to shatter the pattern completely. This isn't about playing childish games. It's about demonstrating, through your actions, that your emotional state and your daily life are no longer tethered to her reactions. If you were always the first to view her social media stories, stop. Disappear. If you used to post frequently about your life, go quiet, or better yet, Start posting content that shows a trajectory she wouldn't expect. A photo from a hiking trip with a new group of friends. A story about learning a new skill. The key is to create a narrative gap of space where she realizes she has no idea what you're thinking or what you're doing. This forces her mind to actively engage with your absence to try and fill in the blanks. Instead of knowing you're just waiting, she's left wondering, what has he got going on that's so compelling? That moment of curiosity is the first crack in the wall of her indifference. However, unpredictability alone is a hollow shell if it isn't backed by substantive change. This leads to the second and far more critical pillar. You must level up while she's gone. The cold truth is that people don't miss a person in the abstract. They miss the emotions and the value that person brought into their life. If your presence was defined by neediness, boredom, or a lack of ambition, then your absence doesn't create a void. It removes a drain. Why would she miss something that was costing her energy? Your mission during this period of silence is not to wait, but to transform. This is about becoming a man whose energy is so inherently valuable that its removal is genuinely felt. It's about shifting from someone who seeks validation to someone who generates it from within. This means hitting the gym with a purpose that changes your physique. It means diving into your work or a passion project with an intensity that yields real results. It means expanding your social circle and having genuine adventures. The focus must be entirely on building a life for yourself that is so engaging and fulfilling that the question of whether she misses you becomes secondary. You are becoming the prize. When she eventually gets a glimpse of this new version, whether through mutual friends, social media, or a chance encounter, she won't see the guy she felt comfortable ignoring. She'll see a man who is stronger, happier, and moving forward with a clear sense of purpose. That image creates a powerful cognitive dissonance. It forces her to confront the possibility that she underestimated you, that she lost access to a rising star. That is the emotional void that truly makes someone miss you. It's not the silence that does the work. It's the resonant sound of a life well lived that echoes in the space you left behind. The concept of creating a void is often misunderstood as an immediate, dramatic event like turning off a light switch and plunging a room into instant darkness. In reality, it's a far more subtle and psychological process, akin to the slow, steady drip of water that eventually wears away stone. The initial silence after you pull back is not the climax of the strategy. It is merely the opening scene. Nothing significant happens right away. In fact, the most likely initial response on her end is not panic or longing, but a sense of relief. If the dynamic had become strained, your absence simply removes a source of tension. This is why the first few days or even weeks of radio silence can feel like a confirmation of failure. You're waiting for a sign of distress, and instead, you're met with what appears to be peaceful indifference. This is the critical moment where most men falter, misinterpreting the calm as the final outcome and breaking their silence in a wave of neediness. The true psychological impact of your absence operates on a delay. It begins not with a bang, but with an echo. The human mind is designed to recognize patterns and rhythms. Your presence in her life, whether through daily texts, regular interactions, or even predictable social media habits, created a subconscious rhythm. When that rhythm is abruptly broken, the mind doesn't immediately register it as a loss. First, it simply notes the irregularity. Then, as time passes and the pattern remains broken, the mind starts to actively fill the silence. This is when the echoes begin. She might be driving home from work and a song comes on the radio that you both like for the first time in weeks. The memory of you surfaces not as a thought but as a feeling. She might pass by the coffee shop you frequented together and her eyes might unconsciously scan the patio. She might be out with friends and a joke is told, and in the laughter, there's a fleeting, unspoken recognition that you would have appreciated that joke. These are not moments of conscious missing. They are subtle, subconscious pings on her emotional radar. The power of these echoes is multiplied exponentially by the work you are doing during your transformation. The goal is not to vanish without a trace, but to vanish and then reappear in her awareness as a changed man. This is where the passive state of silence becomes an active force. When she experiences one of these subtle echoes, her natural curiosity might lead her to check your social media. This is the pivotal moment. If she finds a profile that looks exactly as it did before, worse, one that screams of staged look, happy in photos, the echo dies instantly. She sees through the facade. But if she clicks on your profile and sees a genuine, compelling narrative of growth, a photo from a challenging hike with a new group of confident-looking friends, a story about a project you're passionate about, a picture where you simply look healthier, more focused, and authentically engaged with life, the echo doesn't fade. It amplifies. This is the genesis of the true emotional void. It's not the absence of you that she begins to feel. It's the absence of this new, elevated version of you. The man she glimpses is not the man she decided to pull away from. He seems more confident, more independent, and entirely uninterested in seeking her approval. This creates a powerful psychological dissonance. Was I wrong about him? Did I have a hand in this positive change? Or did it happen to spite me? Has he moved on to something or someone better? This dissonance is profoundly uncomfortable, and the human brain is wired to resolve cognitive dissonance. The easiest way to resolve it is to seek more information, to re-engage, to test the hypothesis. This is the slow, patient work of planting a seed. You are not lighting a firework for a quick, bright explosion of attention. You are creating the conditions for a deep, nagging curiosity to take root. The silence is just the soil. The transformation you undergo is the water and the sun, and the echo, that faint, recurring memory of what was. Contrasted with the compelling evidence of what now is what finally makes the seed grow. The entire strategy of creating space hinges on a single, critical internal shift so fundamental that without it, every other action becomes a hollow performance. This is the move from needing to wanting, from attachment to detachment. It is the difference between a silence that screams of desperation and a silence that resonates with unshakable self-assurance. Most men approach this phase with a hidden agenda. They are going silent in order to win her back. Every action, from hitting the gym to posting on social media, is a calculated move designed to elicit a specific reaction. They are, in essence, waiting. And this hidden agenda is a scent that cannot be masked. It leaks out in the over-edited photo, the overly cryptic caption, the constant checking to see if she's seen your story. She may not be able to articulate it, but on an intuitive level, she feels that your transformation is a show being put on for an audience of one her. This realization instantly neutralizes your power, because it proves that her opinion is still the central force governing your actions. True detachment, therefore, is not an act. It is an authentic, internal state of being. It is the profound understanding that your value, your happiness, and your future are not contingent on the choices of another person. This is not about pretending you don't care. That is merely suppressed neediness. This is about genuinely arriving at a place where you care more about the man you are becoming than about the outcome of this specific situation. The goal shifts from how can I make her miss me to how can I build a life for myself that is so fulfilling that her presence would be a welcome addition, but her absence is not a debilitating loss. This is the cornerstone of genuine confidence. It is the realization that you are the prize. It's not a participant in a competition for a prize. Cultivating. This state requires a ruthless and complete redirection of your focus. You must stop the mental loops of imagining conversations. Stop analyzing her every social media post and stop scripting future reunions. This mental energy is a finite resource, and every watt you spend on her is a watt stolen from your own transformation. The process of detachment is built through 1,000 small decisions, choosing to focus entirely on your workout instead of wondering if she's online. Immersing yourself in a work project instead of drafting a text to her. Deciding to go out with friends with the sole intention of enjoying their company, not as a ploy to create content. It is in these moments that you are not just acting detached. You are building a life that makes detachment a natural byproduct. You are filling the space she once occupied with so many compelling, Positive things that there is simply less and less room for thoughts of her. When you achieve this state, the energy you project into the world undergoes a fundamental transformation. It ceases to be hungry and seeking and becomes calm and self-contained. This is an energy that people, especially women, are exquisitely sensitive to. A man who needs nothing from them is a man who intrigues them. So when she begins to feel your absence, she is not feeling the absence of a man who is secretly pining for her. She is feeling the absence of a man whose own world is so complete that her role in it has been rendered optional. This is what sparks real doubt and, paradoxically, real attraction. She starts to wonder, is he even thinking about me? Did I lose my chance? She is forced to confront the possibility that she may have been evaluated and found wanting, not by a needy man, but by a man of high standards. This flips the entire script. You are no longer the pursuer seeking validation. You become the standard she wonders if she can meet. But the ultimate power of detachment is this. By the time she starts feeling this gravitational pull, you may have built a life so rich and purpose-driven that the question of her return has become irrelevant. You are no longer waiting for her to complete you. You are already complete. And that is the most powerful position of all. After the internal work of detachment and the external work of transformation, a moment will inevitably arrive that tests everything you've built. It might be a simple, seemingly innocent text, "Hey, how have you been?" It could be a like on an old photo, a view of your story, or a comment from a mutual friend that she was asking about you. This is the moment of truth. It feels like the finish line, the reward for all your patience and discipline. And it is here, in this critical juncture, that most men unravel completely. Undoing weeks or months of progress in a few seconds of eager, unforced error. The psychology is simple and brutal. They interpret contact as victory, and in their excitement to claim the prize, they revert to the very behavior that created the problem in the first place. The cardinal sin is responding with immediate, overwhelming enthusiasm. You must understand that her initial reach out is not a surrender. It is a probe. It is a cautious, curious finger extended to test the temperature of the waters she left behind. Is he still the same? Is he angry? Is he desperate? Does he still need me? The moment you reply with a long, detailed paragraph about how you've missed her, or instantly ask to see her, or flood her with questions. You answer all of those questions in the most disappointing way possible. You confirm that your transformation was a facade, that your silence was indeed a tactic, and that you have been waiting for this exact moment all along. You have made yourself predictable again, and in doing so, you have vaporized the mystery and attraction your absence so carefully built. The correct response is rooted in the detached, confident energy you've been cultivating. Your goal is not to win her back in a single exchange. It is to validate her curiosity by showing her that the man she's probing for is real. This requires a disciplined, almost casual composure. When she texts, do not reply immediately. Let a few hours, or even a day pass. This simple act reinforces that you have a life that doesn't revolve around her notifications. When you do respond, keep it light, positive, and brief. If she asks the inevitable, "What have you been up to?" this is your moment to shine, not with a boastful list, but with intriguing simplicity. "Hey, good to hear from you. I've been great, just keeping busy with some new projects and adventures. Hope you're doing well." This response does several things at once. It's friendly and devoid of bitterness. It hints at a full and exciting life, without oversharing. And it politely turns the focus back onto her, putting the ball in her court. You are not feeding her curiosity. You are starving it, making it hungrier. You are leaving gaps in the story that she will feel compelled to fill. This same principle applies if you run into her in person. The energy you project should be that of catching up with an old friend, not reuniting with a lost love. Keep the conversation light, smile, and be the first to end it gracefully. "It was really great to see you. I've got to run, but take care." Let her see the new confidence in your eyes and the ease in your posture. But don't linger to try and prove it. The power is in the walking away. You are showing her that while you are warm and cordial, Your world continues to spin on its axis, with or without her presence in that moment. Every interaction from this point forward must be a reflection of your detachment. You are no longer a suitor auditioning for a role. You are a man allowing her to witness the quality of his life. By holding this frame, you make her work for your attention and investment. You force her to qualify herself to you. And in doing so, you create the only conditions under which a healthy reconnection is possible. Not from a place of your need, but from a place of her genuine, earned desire to be part of the compelling life you have built for yourself.